Imagine achieving a life of abundance and peace, guided by eternal principles that span generations. In today's video, we'll explore the incredible story of Joseph of Egypt and how his lessons can transform your financial and spiritual life. If you want to discover powerful secrets to living with purpose and prosperity, this is the content you can't miss. Leave your like now and follow every detail, because the wisdom we are going to share could be the key to a profound and lasting change in your life. Let's go on this journey of transformation together. Imagine being in a position where everything around you seems to fall apart. You find yourself betrayed by those you trusted most, sold into slavery, and taken to a foreign land where you know no one. The story of Joseph of Egypt begins like this, with an abrupt and unexpected fall, but it is also a story of rise, power, and, above all, abundance. In this text, we will explore how the principles that guided José can be applied to modern life, especially when we talk about achieving financial abundance. Prepare yourself for a journey that reveals how faith, resilience, and divine wisdom can transform any adversity into an opportunity for prosperity. Joseph, Jacob's favorite son, received a gift that would change his life forever, a colorful robe. This symbol of favoritism aroused the envy of his brothers, leading them to conspire against him. They sold him into slavery and faked his death. But what could have been the end of his story was, in fact, the beginning of a journey of overcoming and success. Joseph's life teaches us that even when we are thrown into the worst situations, God's hand is always there to guide us. This same faith that sustained Joseph may be the key to facing the financial crises we face today. Upon arriving in Egypt, Joseph was purchased by Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. Despite being a slave, Joseph quickly gained his master's trust due to his integrity and skill. Potiphar put him in charge of his entire household. This moment in José's life shows us the importance of diligence and honesty at work. Even in the simplest tasks, José demonstrated excellence, which opened doors for him. In our everyday lives, acting with integrity and competence, even in small ways, can lead to unexpected opportunities and open paths to prosperity. Joseph's situation worsened when he was falsely accused by Potiphar's wife and thrown into prison. Once again, Joseph could have given in to despair, but he chose to maintain his faith in God. In prison, he continued to demonstrate his character and abilities, which led to him being placed in charge of the other prisoners. Joseph's story reminds us that, even in the midst of adversity, our attitude and trust in God can transform the environment around us. When we face financial difficulties, it is crucial to remain hopeful and look for ways to use our gifts to improve our situation. The turning point in José's life began with his interpretation of his fellow prisoners' dreams. His accuracy and wisdom were recognized when one of the freed prisoners mentioned Joseph to Pharaoh, who was also tormented by enigmatic dreams. This event highlights the importance of being ready to use our talents when the opportunity arises. Many times, our skills can be the key to our financial ascension. Just like Joseph, we need to be attentive and prepared to take advantage of the opportunities that God puts in our path, as they can be the catalyst for significant transformation. Joseph was called before Pharaoh to interpret his dreams. With God's help, he revealed that Egypt would face 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine. His wisdom in advising Pharaoh on how to prepare the country for the coming famine not only saved Egypt, but also elevated Joseph to the position of governor, the second most powerful man in Egypt. This episode illustrates the importance of financial planning and prudent resource management. The ability to predict difficulties and prepare for them is essential to achieving financial stability and success. During the 7 years of plenty, Joseph implemented a grain storage system that ensured Egypt had sufficient provisions for the years of famine. This act of strategic planning was crucial to Joseph's success and Egypt's survival. In modern life, this translates into the importance of saving and investing during prosperous times. Oftentimes, when we are in a period of abundance, we forget to plan for the future. Learning to save and invest wisely can protect us against hard times and ensure a life of financial stability. When famine struck Egypt and the surrounding lands, Joseph not only saved his own country but also helped the surrounding nations. People came from far and wide to buy grain from Egypt, making the country an economic powerhouse during the crisis. This example shows us that true abundance is not just about accumulating wealth, but also about being in a position where we can help others. In our lives, this may mean using our financial blessings to support worthy causes and help those in need, thereby multiplying the blessings we receive. Joseph's reunion with his brothers, who came to Egypt in search of food, is one of the most moving moments in his story. Joseph had the opportunity to take revenge on those who betrayed him, but he chose to forgive them and reconcile with his family. This act of forgiveness is a powerful reminder that true success is not only measured by material wealth, but also by the ability to maintain healthy, forgiving relationships. In a financial context, this means not allowing bitterness or greed to keep us from Christian values, but rather using our prosperity to build bridges and heal wounds. Joseph brought his family to Egypt, where they lived in peace and prosperity. He settled them in the land of Goshen, one of the best regions in the country. This final gesture from Joseph shows the importance of caring for those we love and using our position of abundance to ensure the well-being of others. In modern life, this can translate into investing in our family and community, ensuring our financial success is shared with those who matter. José's legacy is an example of how financial abundance can be used to create a lasting, positive impact on the lives of others. Joseph's story is not only a narrative of personal overcoming, but also an example of how divine principles can lead to prosperity. Joseph never sought wealth for its own sake. He sought to fulfill God's plans for his life, and wealth was a natural consequence of this. This is a crucial point. When we seek to align our lives with God's principles, prosperity can follow as a natural blessing. This reminds us to put God first in our lives, trusting Him to meet all our needs, including financial ones. One of the most profound teachings of José's life is the importance of patience. He spent years as a slave and prisoner before finally seeing the fruits of his faith and hard work. In financial life, we often look for quick results, but Joseph's story teaches us that true prosperity often requires time and perseverance. We must learn to cultivate patience, knowing that God is working in our hearts and preparing the way for the blessings to come. Therefore, in our finances, it is important to have a long-term vision, investing and working with the confidence that the fruits will come at the right time. Another important aspect of Joseph's story is his ability to see beyond his immediate circumstances. Even while in prison, Joseph maintained his faith in God and continued to use his gifts for the good of others. This teaches us the importance of maintaining a positive and faithful outlook, even in times of financial crisis. Instead of focusing on difficulties, we should look for ways to serve God and others, trusting that He is in control. This attitude of faith can help us navigate difficult times with hope and courage, paving the way for new opportunities. Joseph's story also teaches us about the importance of being prepared for opportunities. Joseph was ready to act when he was called before Pharaoh. He not only interpreted dreams accurately, but also offered a practical plan to save Egypt. In our financial life, we must be prepared to act when opportunities arise. This could mean being prepared to invest when an opportunity presents itself, or being willing to learn new skills that can open doors to success. Preparation and readiness are fundamental to taking advantage of the opportunities that God gives us. Joseph's integrity is another central theme in his story. Even when he was tempted by Potiphar's wife, he chose to maintain his integrity, which temporarily cost him his freedom but preserved his relationship with God. This integrity was rewarded in the end when he was elevated to the position of governor of Egypt. In the financial world, integrity is invaluable. We may be tempted to compromise our principles for financial gain, but Joseph's story reminds us that true prosperity comes of a life lived with honesty and righteousness. By choosing the path of integrity, we ensure that our financial blessings are lasting and that our relationship with God remains strong. Integrity, as in the case of Joseph, may seem difficult to maintain in moments of temptation, but it is what sustains us and allows us to reap the fruits of a financially prosperous and spiritually abundant life. Joseph's ability to forgive his brothers after everything he went through is one of the most powerful lessons in his story. Forgiving those who have wronged us can be one of the biggest challenges we face, especially when we are dealing with financial matters. resentment and bitterness can often block our path to prosperity. Joseph's story reminds us that forgiveness is essential not only for inner peace, but also for opening up new opportunities for growth and prosperity. By releasing hurt, we make space in our lives for God to pour out His blessings. Jose's example also teaches us about the importance of being good stewards of the resources entrusted to us. As governor of Egypt, he was responsible for managing the country's resources during years of plenty and scarcity. His ability to manage these riches was crucial to the well-being of the entire nation. In our lives, we must remember that we are stewards of the blessings that God gives us. This includes our finances, our time, and our talents. How we manage these resources will reflect our faith and our willingness to follow divine principles of wisdom and prudence. Joseph's story also highlights the importance of recognizing that our abilities and successes come from God. In every situation, Joseph gave credit to God for his wisdom and ability to interpret dreams. He never took for himself the glory that belonged to the Lord. In financial life, it is easy to fall into the trap of believing that our success is solely the result of our own efforts. However, the story of Joseph reminds us that God is the source of all blessings. By recognizing and honoring this truth, we maintain a healthy perspective on our finances and ensure we continue to be blessed. A crucial lesson from Joseph's story is the power of resilience. He faced a series of challenges, from being sold into slavery to being unfairly imprisoned. But in all these situations, Jose did not give up. He adapted and continued to trust God. Resilience is an essential quality for achieving financial success. We all face economic challenges at some point, but the ability to persist, learn from setbacks, and keep moving forward is what will allow us to achieve true abundance. Like Joseph, we can trust that God is with us every step of the way. Jose's life also teaches us about the importance of working hard, regardless of the circumstances. He worked excellently as a slave in Potiphar's house and as a prisoner in Pharaoh's prison. His commitment to excellence in any situation opened doors he never could have imagined. In the modern world, this same work ethic can help us advance in our careers and financial endeavors. When we commit to doing our best, regardless of the circumstances, we attract the attention of people who can help us achieve our goals. Jose is also an example of servant leadership. As governor of Egypt, he did not use his position of power for his own benefit, but to serve the people and fulfill God's plans. This type of leadership is essential in all areas of life, including financial management. Whether leading a company, a team, or a family, servant leadership, which puts the needs of others before your own, creates an environment of trust and cooperation that can lead to collective success. This principle can transform the way we manage our resources and positively influence our finances. Jose's life also teaches us about the importance of maintaining a long-term vision. When Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, he not only focused on the immediate solution, but planned for the next 14 years, predicting both abundance and scarcity. In our financial life, this long-term vision is essential to achieve stability and success. Instead of seeking instant gratification, we should plan and invest with a focus on the future, ensuring we are prepared to face any adversity that may arise. Another aspect of Joseph's story is the importance of gratitude. Joseph was grateful at every stage of his life, whether as a slave, prisoner, or governor. He recognized God's blessings in every situation and used those opportunities to grow and prosper. In our financial lives, gratitude is a powerful practice that helps us maintain a positive outlook and recognize the blessings we already have. When we are grateful for what we have, we attract more abundance and live with a heart full of peace and contentment. Joseph also shows us that true prosperity includes spiritual wisdom. Despite his high position, he never turned away from God and always sought His guidance. In the financial world, we may be tempted to rely solely on our own wisdom or market trends, but Joseph's story reminds us of the importance of seeking divine guidance in all our decisions. By including spiritual wisdom in our financial lives, we ensure that our actions are aligned with God's purposes, leading to prosperity that is both material and spiritual. One of the most touching moments in Joseph's story is when he finally reveals his identity to his brothers and forgives them. He not only forgave them, but also ensured that they and their families were well taken care of in Egypt. This action of Joseph teaches us about the importance of using our blessings for the good of others. In our lives, when we achieve financial success, it is essential to remember those around us and use our resources to help those in need. Generosity is a tangible expression of God's grace in our lives and connects us more deeply with divine purpose. José is also an example of how faith can sustain and guide a person in times of uncertainty. Even in the most desperate situations, he never lost faith in God. This unshakable faith was what sustained him and took him to great heights. In our financial lives, faith can be the anchor that keeps us firm in the midst of economic storms. Trusting that God is in control and that He has a plan for our lives gives us the strength we need to continue, even when everything seems lost. Joseph's life shows us that God's blessings are not just for us, but for those around us. When Joseph was blessed with the position of governor, he used this blessing to save many lives during the famine. This teaches us that when we are blessed financially, we have a responsibility to share those blessings with others. This could mean helping our community, supporting causes that matter, or simply being generous to those in need. Sharing our blessings multiplies their impact and reflects God's generous heart. Finally, Joseph's story shows us that true success comes when we align our lives with God's plans. Joseph did not seek wealth or power for its own sake. He sought to fulfill the purpose God had for him. And in doing so, he was blessed with a life of abundance. This is a powerful reminder for all of us. When we put God first and seek to align our actions with His will, He will meet all of our needs. Financial success, then, becomes a natural consequence of living a life dedicated to serving God. In conclusion, the story of Joseph of Egypt is a rich source of teachings about faith, resilience, planning, and integrity. Their experiences show us that regardless of the circumstances we face, we can achieve true abundance by trusting God and following His principles. This text was a journey through Joseph's lessons, showing how we can apply his teachings in our daily lives to achieve not only financial success, but also a life of peace, purpose, and gratitude. If these lessons touched your heart, be sure to share this content so that more people can be inspired by Joseph's powerful story and find true abundance through faith. Thank you very much for following this journey of faith and learning so far. I hope the lessons from Joseph's story have inspired you to pursue a life of abundance and purpose. If this content touched your heart, share it with someone who can also benefit from these powerful messages. Together, we can spread divine wisdom and transform lives. And before you leave, be sure to watch the next video that is appearing on the screen. It complements everything we've seen today and brings even more valuable insights to your spiritual walk. Until next time.